On a literal level, this story is about a father asking for healing and exorcism for his son. But on a symbolic level, it represents parent-child relationship that is disconnected and hopeless, a source of anxiety and pain. And seen this way, it really illuminates something in our human condition. Now we have to ask ourselves, in our times, are there disconnectedness or anxiety or pain relationship with our teens and the generation that goes behind us? Well, you know the answer to this. I don't have to go further. I being in ministry with teens and the fact that I live with two, I could say there might be a little bit of unease in this area, just a little bit. But that wasn't always the case for me. I started as a youth pastor in 1993 in a fairly large Korean church in Glendale, California. Just enrolled in seminary, I was a noob, a fresh, enthusiastic, young intern pastor. There were about 50 students in high school when I started. And as a background info, the thing about ethnic ministries is that there's always a language barrier between the adults and children. The grown-ups go to church, of course, because of their faith, but also there's a social, cultural element to it. They miss their home, the culture, the food, the opportunity to speak freely their native tongue. So, therefore, there's always a divide in an ethnic church. The adults worship in their language, while the kids worship separately in English. Even in 1993 in LA, even in LA, it was difficult to find English-speaking pastors serving in Korean churches. As it turned out, I was one of very few in Glendale area, coupled with the fact that I was 27, which helped me to relate to youth better. And what happened was that the youth group just grew. At first we met at a classroom, but as a number of kids just kept coming, we had to take over the chapel. Not the sanctuary, but the chapel. Most immigrant children don't have adults who could understand them. They know their parents care for them, and maybe some people at church, but they speak no English. So here I was, kind of an adultish person who spoke English, who could relate to them. So the teens loved me, and they were bringing their friends to church. The youth group got huge. So at the time, I thought, this teenager thing is a piece of cake. Can't wait till I get my own. My kids will love me. Fast forward 26 years, in 2019, March 17. I know my children love me. There's no doubt to that, and I love them. Relatable? Maybe. So now I'm thinking, wow, this teen parenting is way harder than I thought. What went wrong? Well, there's some info that was very helpful to me and I'll share with you. One, they're going through incredible changes in all different levels. Their bodies are changing, social expectations are changing. They have to adjust being from elementary school they've known for 7 years. Within 3 years, they're encountering 3 different learning environments. That is daunting even for adults. But we're putting them through this kind of changes at that age. 2, their brain development has been largely misunderstood. I read this book, Why Do They Act That Way? A Survival Guide to the Adolescent Brain for You and Your Teen by Dr. David Walsh. And this is the first book that tries to explain teen behavior through brain science. It's the first book. It was an eye-opener because there's incredible transformation happening in their brains. Have you ever, I give you one example, there's so many, you gotta read it. There's one example I'd like to point out to you. Have you ever wondered why your teen doesn't acknowledge you in public? Well, there's an explanation for that. The part of the brain that interprets social cues and reinforces social cohesion becomes very sensitive at that stage. So they get really embarrassed when anything that doesn't seem normal happens around them. So that's why if you go to their games, if you go to their school, they just completely ignore you. Or they get really upset if you do anything out of line. Don't take it personally. It's brain science. 3, they're sleep deprived. The way our society structures school schedules, it mainly benefits working adults. As a result, teens do not get enough sleep. They usually get 6 or 7. That's the average. Do you know what is the recommended hours for them?
9.
9 to 10. When somebody is sleep deprived for a long time, they're prone to depression, ADHD, irritability, incoherent thinking. You know it, right, if you have children. So considering these 3 factors, plus many other pressures and stresses in their life, you can see we could be that father being helpless. But there's so much angst in teen years. But here's the good news. The art of parenting is helping both parents and children go through tough times together. Sometimes we experience distress because we choose to make sacrifices for a greater cause, like God and Jesus. Sometimes there's an illness or disorder in the family. Sometimes stuff happens. Things are difficult just in our environment. But no matter what, this passage reminds us not to give up, to remember